as well as beating a stacked final that it was, including the likes of not Noah Wilson, Quincy Wilson, pretty massive win. Who he beat him by a few yards at the end there. What would the confidence for you be feeling like, coming after this race, if you're Andrew and, beating a guy who's a peer of yours, who is an Olympian? That's got to feel pretty awesome. What's your take on this, man?
Yeah, I would assume that bro's on cloud nine right now. Like his confidence is through the roof right now. Like can't nobody tell him shit right now. Now it's still early to Mr. Andrew, and congratulations on breaking a high school national record. That is incredible. He ran an incredible time. And actually, if you guys watched the race, it was so tactical. Like he was very tactical, very intentional. He ran that race like an experienced person. But um for him, like I'm sure he's over the moon right now, and rightfully so, for sure. I just hope he stays hungry throughout the rest of the year. What are you thinking though?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, the win, like you said, I think the win is big. Where in high school, it's interesting because in high school track and field during the regular season doesn't really mean, like, if you think the regular season means nothing in the pros, like the regular season means nothing, or in college, it means nothing in high school. It's like, yo, let me qualify and then I'll see these cats in at the national championship. Well, you may not actually see them at the national championship because there's 8 different national championships, and we'll talk about that later. But so you'll see him at the end of the year. But in this, like, that's what I'm liking right now. Like, first, shout out to high school track and field where we're getting these super races that we've never seen before. And there's not many of these big, names, quote unquote, in high school track and field. And these are two of them,
Yeah.
that we have. And to see them going head to head in the middle of January, when Quincy is competing for, looking to compete in September. Andrew, I guess he just signed with Florida. He's hoping to probably get to like a U20 team potentially. So it's like it's exciting to see it. But to go on the race, like you said, yeah, I think it was a tactical race, and he was sitting there, and I think like he waited until sort of like that last moment where he really attacked and pushed and brought it home. But it was a very impressive race. It makes you think, hey, wonder, when will we see one of these guys go sub 1 minute in as a high schooler? Which is, it's very close, but they don't race this all too often. So overall, just like fantastic race, I think, by him. And yeah, I'm feeling myself going through the rest of this year like, oh, I'm going undefeated, like, into nationals if I'm him. Like, that's how I'm feeling right now.
Absolutely. I mean, watching his mannerisms after the race and seeing how gassed up he was, it obviously was a boost to his confidence, and almost like I was putting myself in his coach's shoes as he was running. Like as he was running, I was putting myself in his coach's shoes and how I would kind of approach him for the remainder of the season. Like he got a big win. That was a huge win, but it's the 500. Like the 500 isn't a real event, really. So I was looking at it in terms of how does this convert to a 400. So he ran a minute in like minute 61 or something, a minute
Yeah,
flat,
minute
basically.
49.
Um,
Yeah.
and I was basically like, okay, well, if this was a 400, what would he run? I would probably say that was a 46.2, 46.3 run right there. Because I just took 14 seconds off the top. Um, as if like simulating that what that last 100 would be 14, 15 seconds. So he's in a really, really, really good place to be. He should be running 45s come outdoor, maybe some 44s come outdoor. Um, but yeah, let's hope he doesn't burn too many matches early. And congratulations on the win, man.
Yeah, like it's gotta be hard for these coaches now where, I mean, in high school, I don't know about you, but like we would have like two, like in indoors you'd have a meet every week, and then outdoors we would have 2 track meets every week. We would have, our dual meets on Wednesdays, and then we'd have our invitationals on Saturdays. And so it's interesting to see how some of these high school schedules differ where like Christian Miller, when we were talking to him, he's like, yeah, I'm not on that high school record. I'm not on the high school schedule. Like I run, like we're on different things. So I'm wondering if these guys, like with Quincy, I was surprised to see he's raced like two times this year already. Like he's in this right now, and he's going to Milrose, come racing against grown men soon. Again, not like it's a surprise to him. He's done it for a while now, but just like it's interesting to see how much they're racing this early because they're not your typical high schoolers, I guess.
Absolutely, man. I think it's something right now. The athletes that elite kind of proceed with caution. Christian Miller picked his battles last year, and I think that was really smart of him to do so. And I hope I see a little bit more selectiveness out of Quincy. Maybe he's doing a lot of volume this indoor season, kind of to whip himself into shape. I don't really know. I mean, maybe his coach is just like super anal about compete because he is still a high schooler, making sure he gets enough experience under his belt. Um, and enough races, enough reps under his belt where he could get to that point that he needs to be. But you know, um, we haven't seen any injuries, and we're not going to pray for any injuries. We're just going to hope for a sustained amount of incredible performances from Quincy and Andrew and any other high schooler that's really popping their shit.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year, I'm sure, and a lot of very talented runners that are going to be coming out of high school soon. So, but amazing race by Andrew. Big upset, like first big one of the year. We'll see what the next one will be, but that one was good. Then if we
Yeah,
go on over to the college route, so I want to hear from you. So USC was popping off. They got the NCAA lead in the 60 with Max Thomas. They got the NCAA lead in the 200, Johnny Blockberger. NCAA lead in the 60-meter hurdles with Johnny Brackens in with the 749.